We all have them, moments that change us, moments that rip away our assumptions and show us the world as it really is. Sometimes they're painful, sometimes they're beautiful, but they always leave a mark. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We're diving into some of the most raw, real, and unforgettable stories I've ever heard. These aren't just anecdotes. They're gut punches. They're moments of truth that hit people when they least expected it, forcing them to see themselves and the world in a whole new light. Today, we're exploring the question, what's the harshest reality check you've ever had? I've got a list of stories here that are going to stick with you. The kind of stories that make you pause and reevaluate everything, from a child's heartbreaking lesson about gratitude to a man's journey to find his kidnapped daughter to a woman's shocking discovery about the person she married, the peanut butter sandwich. Let's start with a story that's a tough one to hear, but so important. It comes from a man who grew up in an orphanage. Imagine this. You're a kid, and your whole world is about survival. Food isn't a given, it's something you fight for. You dream of simple things, like a mom who would cook for you. When he was 12, his friend from school invited him over. The next morning, he watched as his friend's mom made his lunch, a peanut butter sandwich cut into neat triangles with a little note tucked inside. It was a small act of love, but to him, it was everything. But then his friend rolled his eyes. Peanut butter again? Mom, why can't you pack something good? Everyone else gets cool lunches. The kid from the orphanage watched the mother's smile fade, and something inside him just snapped. His voice shaking, he said, "Do you know what I had for lunch yesterday? Nothing. The day before? Half a stale piece of bread I had to share with another kid. At the orphanage, we fight over scraps of food. And you're complaining because your mom, who loves you enough to make you lunch, gave you peanut butter?" The friend got defensive. "You don't understand. You're just jealous." And the orphan replied, "You're right. I am jealous. I'm jealous you have a mom who loves you and you're too spoiled to even see it." The friend, in a fit of anger, shouted, "Get out. No wonder you're in an orphanage. Who would want a kid like you?" He grabbed his backpack, the words stinging him more than any hunger ever could, but before he left, he turned to the mom and said, "Thank you for offering to make me lunch. Where I come from, a peanut butter sandwich made by someone who cares would be better than gold." That's a reality check right there. Not for him, but for his friend. It's a harsh reminder that what we take for granted is often someone else's wildest dream. It makes you wonder, what simple blessings are you overlooking right now? The silent song. This next story is about finding a lifeline when you're drowning in silence. It comes from a man who lost his mother in childbirth in 1977. His father, consumed by guilt and grief, blamed him. Every night his dad would get drunk and point at him, slurring, "You killed her the day you were born." The boy stopped speaking. Not a single word. Silence became his shield. But there was one person who saw past the silence, his music teacher, Mrs. Allen. While others tried to force him to talk, she noticed how he would mouth the words to songs during choir, never making a sound. She saw him. One rainy Tuesday after choir practice, Mrs. Allen walked to the piano. She took an old, worn piano book out of her bag, the kind that mothers pass down to their children. She placed it in front of him, and in that moment something broke inside him. He started to cry. Not the quiet tears he was used to, but deep, gasping sobs that had been trapped for months. He waited for her to pull away, to get uncomfortable, like everyone else did when his pain showed. But Mrs. Allen didn't move. She didn't hug him or say, "Everything will be okay." She just placed her hand on his and sat there. Her silence spoke volumes. It said, "I understand." Louder than any words ever could. She never forced him to sing. Instead, she let him sit at the piano during choir, turning pages for the other kids. She knew what others didn't. Sometimes silence screams louder than any song. This story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most profound comfort comes not from words, but from the quiet, powerful act of just being there. The generator and the Tesla now for a story that makes you question how far a person's sense of entitlement can go. This one is about a man who lived in an area prone to storms. 30 years ago, his father installed a backup generator, a simple one, just enough to keep the essentials running. For decades, he and his neighbors had an informal agreement. If the power went out, they'd all share it for basic needs. It worked perfectly. But then, a new family moved in next door. During the first power outage, they seemed reasonable. They politely asked to connect their essentials, but something felt off. Our storyteller noticed his generator was struggling more than usual. That night, he walked past their house, and what he saw made his blood boil. Every room was lit up. 3 AC units were running full blast. The kids were gaming, and they were charging their Tesla in the garage. His own home started experiencing power fluctuations, and the stockpile of frozen meals he'd prepared for his elderly mom began to thaw. When he checked the generator, it was making concerning noises from the overload. He tried to explain to the new neighbors, "The generator isn't meant for this kind of load. It's for emergencies only." Their response: "Electricity is electricity. Stop being so stingy." That generator was the last thing he and his father installed together. It meant something more than just power. Yesterday, after seeing them plug in another AC unit, he simply locked the generator's access panel. Now, they're calling him cruel for letting their kids suffer in the heat. You see, this isn't about being stingy. It's about respect, boundaries, and understanding that you can't just take advantage of someone's kindness. The most profound reality check for these new neighbors is that their sense of entitlement doesn't entitle them to other people's hard work and generosity. They'll have to get their own generator. The Stolen Daughter. This next one is a harrowing journey of a parent's love and a relentless fight for justice. This man lost his daughter in 2016. Her mom and grandma took her during a weekend visit. Looking back, he saw the red flags, weird questions about her documents, extra photos being taken. And then, they were gone. They filed false abuse allegations against him. Suddenly, half the town thought he was a monster. His own sister stopped talking to him. The police? They shrugged and said it was a civil matter because the mother had partial custody. He spent 2 years living out of his car on weekends, following leads across different states. They kept moving her, using different names, different schools, but he kept every document, fake names, school records, everything. Everyone thought he was crazy, showing them all these papers and connections. But then, they made a mistake. The grandma tried to use the girl's real birth certificate to claim Social Security in Montana. A clerk noticed the discrepancy, and federal marshals got involved. They found them in a cabin way out in nowhere. The mother and grandmother had been homeschooling her, telling her that her father had died in an accident. That man's daughter needed therapy to process everything. But today, she lives with him and is doing way better. She just started high school. Her mother and grandmother are serving 12-year sentences for parental kidnapping, identity theft, and fraud. This is the ultimate reality check for those two women. They thought they could get away with it, that they could use the system and a father's love against him. But they were wrong. This story is a testament to the power of a parent's love and the relentless pursuit of what is right. You can't outrun the truth forever. The magic shoes. Let's end on a more heartwarming note, shall we? This one comes from a parent who asked, "What's the most badass thing you've seen a tiny human do?" It's a story about a little girl named Emma. She was always the smallest in her ballet class, but her heart was bigger than her size. One day, a new student arrived, a boy named James. He stood nervously by the door, trembling. While the other kids whispered and pointed, Emma watched him with concern. The teacher was introducing James when Emma, without a moment's hesitation, walked over to him. She sat down, took off her beloved pink ballet slippers, the ones she'd begged for weeks, and held them out to James. "These are magic shoes," she said earnestly. "They make you brave. I wear them whenever I'm scared." The teacher tried to explain that James needed his own shoes, but Emma looked up with that determined expression that all parents know so well. "Everyone needs magic shoes for their first day," she declared with the unwavering certainty only a 5-year-old can muster. Emma spent the entire class dancing in her socks, her feet sliding on the smooth floor. But she didn't mind. She was too busy watching James, who wore her slippers with growing confidence. By the end of the class, the earlier trembling was gone. James was smiling. This is a reality check for all of us. Sometimes the most powerful and courageous thing you can do is a simple act of kindness. A little girl, who had every right to keep her precious shoes, chose to give them away to make someone else feel brave. It reminds us that empathy and compassion are not just abstract ideas. They are active choices we make every single day. And sometimes those choices come from the tiniest among us. These stories are a powerful reminder that life is full of unexpected moments of clarity, moments that challenge our perceptions, test our limits, and, if we're lucky, reveal the best parts of human nature. I want to hear from you. What's the harshest reality check you've ever had? Share your stories in the comments below. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.